Well, public opinion, indeed public anger, had a big impact on those votes in the House of Commons yesterday, and with it we've seen a diminution of the risk of a second referendum. For now, the prospect of Article 50 being extended taken off the table. And when I hear speakers, despite the Spellman Amendment, saying today they're worried that the risk of a no deal has increased, you're right, it has. But not because of what happened last night in Westminster, but because of the response, gentlemen, we got from you this afternoon. You know, even when the Prime Minister actually gets a majority behind her, and all right, I accept, she made a dreadful mistake by signing up to the backstop. You summoned her. At 4:15 in the morning, she left Downing Street. She went to meet the ultimatum that you'd set her. She signed up to something that has proved to be a disaster. She signed up to something that no country, unless it had been defeated in war, would have signed up to. We now realise that mistake. And actually, the House of Commons, the country, is overall looking for a deal. But you know something? Before the referendum, no one knew who the European Commission were. That Maoist Barroso was a complete unknown. You guys are now household names. And what we've seen is an appreciation in Britain that unelected bureaucrats in Brussels have been talking down to and humiliating the Prime Minister of our nation, and we don't like it. And even when she comes back, trying to be reasonable, saying let's renegotiate, you're not prepared to give an inch. The reason that a no-deal Brexit's got a little bit closer is because of the sheer language and attitude, not just from the Commission, but from many in the Parliament towards the United Kingdom. I think public opinion will be very, very angry that there is no give today from anybody in Brussels whatsoever. I think many will say we're simply dealing with fanatics who are not prepared to be reasonable and make any sense of compromise. And of course, Theresa May has made compromise after compromise, way too many compromises in my view. So I think we are beginning to think that the public will come to a view that no deal is better than the backstop, and that's a big problem. It's a big problem for all of you who want to get re-elected in a few weeks' time, because no deal means no 39 billion and your voters will be coughing up the money. No deal means the 100 million bottles of Prosecco we buy every year from Italy will become more expensive, as will 750,000 German cars. So why don't we all prepare sensibly for a no-deal scenario? Why don't we prepare to go to the World Trade Organization, use Article 24, so that we can, after we leave on March the 29th, have a 2-year period of no tariffs, no quotas, no restrictions of any kind, no problems or difficulties with Ireland whatsoever. Brexit will have been delivered. You will have protected for at least 2 years your voters. That, I think, ladies and gentlemen, right now is the only possible constructive way forward.
After the vote yesterday, Mrs. May announced that she will come to Brussels, and for me, I have to tell you, very honestly, she's always welcome. Certainly here in this European Parliament, should be good that she comes to the European Parliament here, as we requested already more than a year ago. But the question today is naturally, for what? For what? To do what? Is it to change the red lines that the British government has used from day one? That could be a breakthrough, I think. That could change effectively the outcome of this whole process. Or is it, that's my second point, what will be her mandate? Because for the moment, I have to tell you, Mr. Fox, I have also yesterday not seen a parliament that gives a clear mandate to Theresa May. We have seen a vote against a number of things, against the deal, against no deal, against the backstop. But until today, more than 2 years, the House of Commons has not voted one proposal in favour of something, in favour of a relationship between the EU and the UK. Never. The last 2 months, I have to tell you, have been very exhausting. Very exhausting. Not only at the other side of the channel, also here. Endless debates, long list of amendments, amendments going in all directions, selected by the Speaker, and then won and lost with a teeny tiny majority. I give here the list. The Grieve Amendment, that was the 4th of December. That was for a Remain amendment. Huh? Won by 22 votes. The Cooper Amendment, also Remain amendment, that was of the 8th of January, won with 7 votes. Then another Cooper Amendment, that was yesterday, lost by 23 votes. Then the Brady Amendment, that was more a Leave Amendment, won by 16 votes yesterday. And then again a Remain Amendment, the Spellman Amendment, and to take the no deal from the table, won by 8 votes. Is that the way you can solve a problem of a magnitude? Is that the way to do that? Is that the way you do that? That is every day changing your opinion, every day changing your opinion, and in any way creating an uncertainty, an instability, instead of concluding a real new relationship between the EU and the UK. And I have to tell you, I'm looking to that and I cannot understand it, that what started as a catfight inside the Conservative Party is today an existential problem for the whole Britain. And like yesterday, voting, for example, the Spellman Amendment with a majority of 8 votes, saying the no deal is off the table, and then the Prime Minister coming back 5 minutes later and saying, no, that was for joking, and that we did that. A no deal is still possible. I have to tell you, we cannot go further like that. This is a lack of clarity and a lack of stability. And I hope one thing, that is at this moment is happening as we speak, a meeting between the leader of the opposition, Mr. Corbyn, and the Prime Minister, Mrs. May. I hope that they will decide, or that they will discuss content, and that is not only eating biscuits and drinking tea this afternoon. Because it could be the solution for this problem if they start to working together on a cross-party approach so that we know what the position of the UK is in the future. Because we don't know it. Putting in fact, Mr. Fox, putting in fact country before party, telling us how they see that future relationship between the EU and the UK, and not using or abusing Brexit as it happened now to get rid of each other, because that is what's happening today. And if that is the spirit that emerged in Downing Street this afternoon, then the Prime Minister May can come and has to come to Brussels to tell us what this broad, stable majority cross-party wants as future relationship. And I think also there is the solution for the backstop. Because if there is a close relationship, deeper as Michel Barnier has indicated, then the backstop will still exist. But it shall not be necessary to use it. It shall be a theoretical insurance that in fact is not necessary to apply. Again, we are ready to go in that direction. Michel Barnier has indicated, Jean-Claude Juncker has indicated. It's time that the political class in Britain is also ready to go in that direction, the fastest as possible, because you're going to pay the first price of this lack of clarity.
Our next speaker on my list is Madam Scott Cato for the Greens European Free Alliance. Madam.